The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. Warning, because nothing has changed since 2022. The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming, unlike my regular videos, as you can see right there, where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. Yes, hello. And hello. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done this. But I got a good reason. I have a good reason for it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So welcome to the first EGOWorks live stream, drawing live stream for 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, so here we are again. I finally made it this time. So yes, I see you, the 5 people next to my giant eyeball on the screen. And yes, oh, look at that. We have Jake is in the house, direct from Norway. We have Jay Solano. Hello, welcome. And we have Patrick. Hello. Good afternoon. And as always, we have Nita in the watching the VIP room, making sure everybody behaves themselves in the chat. So you have to see how she's looking here. The poor thing, she's not feeling very well, so she's all cozy in a blanket, but she's still keeping an eye on everybody. So make sure you all watch your P's and Q's. And like I said, I see you 5 people watching me from regions beyond. So if you're watching me from Facebook, if you're watching me from Twitter, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in my chat, in all the chats on the Indie Comic Network. Yeah. And yes, and if you're watching me from Twitch, hello again. Yes, thank you so much for watching. It's kind of weird that Twitch deletes videos like every 7 days. So it's kind of weird not seeing an archive of my stuff over there. So I'm going to have to do something about that. I was told that if I do shorts, if I do like clips or something, that can actually stay up there so people can get a sense on Twitch as to what this show Oh, Jake, no, no apology necessary. If you have stuff that you want to talk about that you're doing, just go ahead and talk about it in the chat. We're all friends here. We're all trying to shill stuff here. No problem with that at all. So what happened in these past? Hold on, I got to straighten out my ears here. For the longest time, I thought that for some reason, I thought maybe the glue on my ears were kind of like slipping, because I was like beginning to notice my ears were getting all crooked. And it was just my headphones were crooked. It's just the actual headphones were crooked. So I just have to adjust them. There we go. Now we're all correct here. So actually, before, look at that. It's like I'm gone for a couple of weeks and I forget how to do this. So where were we? Yeah, so hello everybody. My name is Daphne Lage and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992. You do the math. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which is returning to Kickstarter hopefully in a couple of weeks. starting 2023, right? I am going to be launching Tall Tales the Peacekeepers, the remastered version of the Tall Tales miniseries that we did back in the day. Again, you do the math. But it will be returning to Kickstarter. I'm just waiting for them to approve the campaign, and then I can get a nice little launch page, pre-launch page up, and then we can get this party started. So it's nice to have the Peacekeepers back, continuing the Tall Tales collection that I am slowly growing in my library and yours. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns late spring 2023 with issue 6 of Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. Issue 6 already. We are at issue 6. I still can't believe that, but that's not until late spring 2023. So keep an eye out for that. And speaking of Nita in the background, I am also co-host with Nita Lanning on the Rage Into the Vlogs show every Monday and Friday here on the Indie Comics Network. Well, if you're watching this on my channel, we also simulcast through the Indie Comics Network as well, but I'll explain that in a bit. So you can read. Oh, also you can read both my comics, Eagle Raven and Tall Tales, online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can also check out all my videos on how I make my comics and my art, and even like my back library of live streams. You can see it on my channel at Daphne Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network as well. So make sure you come on over to YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we go live with any of our shows. And we're bringing on a lot more shows in the next couple of months. It's going to be crazy. If you had told me a year ago this is what everything would look like, I would have thought you were nuts. But hey, here we are, and this is what it all looks like. So say what, right? And yes, and for those of you who are heading over to egoworks.com to read Eagle Raven, just to let you know, I have reset for the new year. I have reset the archive for the longest time. It was the original black and white version, which is no longer on the website right now. It started on the 2nd. It started on Monday. Right now, we're going to be serializing the full color Kickstarter version of Eagle Raven. So this is like the pretty much the remastered, the final version of Eagle Raven, which is now going to be serializing on the website every Monday through Friday. So there's going to be a daily update during the week. So so you can read Eagle Raven for free that way, or you could download the free PDF. It's a 16-page sampler of the first issue if you want to check that out as well. If you are not familiar with my comic and you want to get a taste of it, to see if maybe the Kickstarter is something you want to keep an eye out for, you can go right ahead and you can get either one of those at EagleWorks. And don't forget to sign up for my mailing list as well, so that you don't miss out on any of my crowdfunders, because we're going to have a busy year, and I'm going to show you that schedule in a minute. So say who else is oh, hello John Celestri, hello, welcome. Oh, and hello Imaginos TV. Oh, thank you so much, thank you. Getting lost. Yeah, exactly. It's well, I mean, it's like maybe one day I'll collect the original black and white 5 issues, just so everybody has it as part of their archive. But no, I don't want to put it in the lost media just yet. I like to model myself as after Wendy and Richard Pini, who do ElfQuest, and they've been doing ElfQuest from I think like since 77 or something, 76, 77, and or 79. I don't remember, and they've just been cranking out forever variations of that book since then. I mean, I don't think there's just the other day I saw the manga version of ElfQuest that they did for DC Comics, and how like and I was just fascinated as to how they reworked the panels to fit 1978. Thank you, Nita. Thank you. 1978. And they and it was just fascinating to see how they redid the panels to fit the manga format, and how they, like, create gray tone stuff, and it was pretty interesting. So yeah, so I don't want to think that there's any lost media on my end. I mean, it's like, honestly, that's the reason why we are, re-releasing Tall Tales in the new format, so it's like we try to get like a consistent library for everything. So let's see. Yeah, so it's like, hold on, let me get a drink here. It's like, I think I made the mistake of putting on this lip gloss, and it's just like making me feel really odd, because it's like, I don't know, it's very sticky or whatnot. I just wanted to moisturize. You know how I am about moisturizing. And it's like, gosh, it's like I have to wipe everything down. I'm getting this crap all over everything, and it's giving me dry mouth. I mean, it's just like really strange. I don't know how people wear this stuff all the time. you know. Uh, you know, um, yeah, no, the album, yeah, the album size is also, yes, Vaseline probably would have been a better choice for me. Yeah, the album size for me, it was the Starblaze Dawning, the full color Elf Quest that I bought at Barnes and Nobles when I was yay but high. Um, and yeah, that between that and Rocket Raccoon, it's like those were the two things that's responsible for all this. I blame the peonies. That's what it is. you know but yeah, so what's been going on in the past couple of weeks? I'll tell you. It's like, yeah, I did miss I think like the last 2 weeks of live streams, which I do have to apologize for, but not really, because you didn't want to see me streaming during those 2 weeks. So what happened is, like, right before Christmas, around like the 19th, the 19th, 2021 to 21st, December 21st. I pulled my back. And I made the mistake. Well, I had woken up feeling like my back was in a very fragile state, and I made the mistake of going to the supermarket and picking up, it's like I go to like Costco, and those boxes of the 6-gallon waters, right? And I made the mistake of picking that up, and hilarity ensued. Actually, no, hilarity did not ensue. I regretted my decision immediately, and the problem is that I've been suffering for it since. I have been in a lot of pain in that time. It ended up affecting not only my back but my right leg as well, which made it really hard to sit and stand and do things, and try to act normally, but so let that be a lesson. Don't pick up heavy shit. just don't always have somebody when you go to Costco. That's kind of the lesson. But yeah, but it's just finally going away. I mean, this was probably the worst I have ever hurt myself. And as somebody who's trained for legit half marathons, I have never hurt myself the way I did picking up those stupid that stupid box from Costco. And and the thing is, though, and it has a lot to do with the fact that uh yeah, exactly. This is turning comedy into tragedy. Yes, that's what we do here. That's what we do. It's like, and I know for a fact that had a lot to do with the fact of what I do. It's like, I sit a lot, I'm drawing a lot. Like I said, especially these last 2.5, 3 years, I've never concentrated so hard on my artwork before. So I've been, like in this position for the past 3 years nonstop. So That's not good for the back, it seems. And that's what happened. And it just finally took a toll. And and because of that, I couldn't run any previous streams because I literally could not sit for more than like 40 minutes or something. It's like right now, it's like I finally got to a point where I can sit without squirming, so I mean, even right now, it's like I still feel it in my leg, but it's not as bad as it was before. I mean, I do have a doctor's appointment coming up. So it's like we're gonna see if either it'll go completely go away by that point, or I can get some I can get some drugs that'll take care of it quick, or at least some better ones. The painkillers that they gave me, when I mean there was literally a day I couldn't walk, and we had to go to emergency fast care. And they said, yeah, you fucked yourself up. You sprained your back, and also you were dumb enough to use a hot water bottle with Bengay, which caused a chemical burn. Don't do that. There's a reason why that says not to do that on actually, it was a lidocaine patch. There's a reason why they say not to do that, and I ended up with a chemical burn on top of everything. So they gave me some painkillers and whatnot, and it was okay. But once that shit wore off, and it's like, and I realized that it really wasn't doing much for me. So it's like I really had to grit my teeth through these past 3 weeks. And also what I learned from it as well, aside from not lifting heavy boxes at Costco, um, is the fact that this is a reason why it's important that you have leeway in your schedule. No matter what, like how your schedule may look or whatnot, or how much you have to do, you cannot run your schedule as if it's going to run perfectly. Because holy crap, did this mess me up. I mean, this was something I do not want to go through again. That's for sure. Because there literally came a point where it's like I was not comfortable unless I was lying down with my leg up. So which means that I couldn't really work at the computer. I couldn't really draw much. And it was a little harrowing. It was a little harrowing, that's for sure. Maybe I wouldn't have felt so bad if I actually hurt myself marathon training, because that would make more sense. But I've never hurt myself like that as bad, I mean, you get the occasional sprains and whatnot, but not like this. And also, that's the other thing too. It's like if you're, if you're working a very, very sedentary job like me, like a lot of us in the chat. Oh yeah, exactly. I would say any artist over 30. Because it's like, in the 20s, you think you can, survive everything. Once you hit 30 is when that wall starts to come up. And yeah, I really do think, you have to be aware of your health, getting hunchback and messing up the intestines by being constantly stationary. Right, exactly. It's like, oh, hey, Allison. Hey. It's like that's the thing. It's like, if you have to take care of yourself, even though it doesn't look like we're doing anything, because we're always, at a table, we're always drawing, we're in front of a computer. But that's not good. And here's the funny thing too. For a little while, there was this whole no sitting down movement craze thing, right? Where it's like, oh, if sitting down is bad for you, then people were literally going out of their way to not sit down, right? So everyone got standing desks, and they built desks on treadmills and this, that, and the other thing. And what they found is that those people who did not sit down at all were developing other problems. It's like that there were other it's like, so doing an extreme of either thing is no good. It's like you really have to, yeah, it's like you kind of, it's like, look, the Fitbit had to come back again, after a long hiatus. Um, and it's like, it's just that I can't really do much right now until I get the okay from my doctor saying it's like, okay, you can start working out again. Because like it's like I've mentioned it several times last year that I wanted to get back into half marathon shape. And and it's like, and I was going to do that until the stupid leg thing happened. And like, I couldn't do anything. Like, even walking was really hard. But the thing is that I made sure that I kept moving through it regardless. I didn't push through the pain, but because you don't want to hurt yourself even more. But I made sure I kept moving, because I think of the mistake that a lot of people make when they hurt themselves is that they think that, oh, I can't move anymore. And it's like, no, actually, depending on the type of injury that you have, of course, it's more important that you move. And to keep it, yeah, and to kind of like keep the circulation going and whatnot. So it's like, yeah, I made sure that I at least was walking every day. Even even if it hurt, it's like I made sure that I kept walking. And because then it's like it felt better when I lied down. um but yeah, but I could not for the past, for that's why in the end there was no live streams, because I couldn't sit down long enough to even consider controlling everything that comes with doing a 2-hour live stream. Luckily, I was able to do the vlogs with Nita, because it's like they're only an hour, and I was able to get away with that. It's like, although at the very end I would be pushing my luck, but like I said, this is getting better. So yes, let's not do that again. Yes, absolutely not. So speaking of schedule, before we get started, I have a couple of things on the table, as you can see right here. Yeah, so it's like, so in the meantime, I still had to do things. You see, that's the funny thing. Just because you're laid up doesn't mean everything stops around you. You have to keep moving. You have to keep doing things. These things don't make themselves. And luckily, I was able to kind of like get through things, regardless of of what was happening. So of course, with the new year came a new schedule. And I have to agree with Sam Farah when he says, like, don't do resolutions. It's like, because it's like the stats are awful, and it's like, what, it's like, in the end, it's like the only thing that I want to do for 2023 is be more consistent with my work, and to be able to have a full schedule without having several meltdowns like I did last year. That was not good either. Well, let's try to avoid that as well. Let's avoid meltdowns. So of course, like I said, with the new year, it's like with the new year comes the new schedule. And it might look a little hairy, as I show this. But so I came up with my list of things that I wanted to do for 2023 and accomplish for 2023. Now, it kind of looks like a lot, but you see, here's the funny thing. Most of the items on this list are in varying degrees of production already. So it's not, I don't think it's that bad. Like, so I have a list of Kickstarters that I want to run for this year. These are kind of like little extras. They're not actually Kickstarters. So like, they're just little extras that I put on the bottom here, just as more notes. But the actual Kickstarters I want to run are right here. So we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Kickstarters. And like I said, it's like they're in varying degrees of completion anyway, so I'm not that concerned about it. I'm just waiting for Kickstarter to get their shit together and approve my Peacekeepers campaign, so I can get that on pre-launch already, right? And then it's like it's so I have so Peacekeepers technically is complete. That one I have a proof coming in next week. I'm very excited to see that. So that's pretty much that. That's complete. Eager Raven issue 6. The only thing that I have to do is finalize the lettering and also actually color correct, shade and color correct. Which if I really put my nose to the grindstone, I can probably get that done in about like a week and a half. It's just like putting in the shading and then color correcting because it's flatted already. So I just have to do that. And then the next one is another Tall Tales book. That one I just have to I have to re-letter. It's pretty much set up already. I just have to re-letter it. And then we have Eager Raven 7, which again, I just have to do I just have to tighten up I have to finalize the lettering. And then I just have to, again, shade and color correct because again, the flats are done. And for everybody who's been watching House of Bob, also, by the way, thank you everybody who joined us on the House of Bob monthly live stream. If you missed it, you can catch it on the replay here on my channel and on the Indie Comics Network After Dark channel. So we were talking about how we're finally putting House of Bob, a premium sketchbook, on the docket for Kickstarter later on in the year. So that's also on my list as well. All I have to do is just put the book together. The artwork for the interiors is essentially done. I just have to do the actual graphic design of putting it together. And I may or may not do a new cover for it. We haven't decided yet. Most depending on how I feel, maybe I'll do a new cover for it just for it to be like a Kickstarter exclusive image. But again, it's like it's not going to take me long to put that together. And then the last two are kind of the little hairy ones for the year. I have Eager Raven issue 8, which is partially laid out. I do have the layouts up until page 21 or 22. But I do have all the layouts before that already printed on bristle paper, so I can start penciling it. So that is scheduled for sometime later on in the year. So as long as I, again, keep my work consistent on these things that I have to do, I think I'm pretty okay. I think that I can put together these Kickstarters without a hassle. Also, I have a special Eager Raven one shot that I would like to put on the docket as well. That I haven't decided if that's going to be its own campaign or if it's going to be sharing a campaign with one of the other issues. But it's if for those of you who follow me on Facebook, it's I made the joke about how Kickstarter was trying to get me to change the name of Eager Raven to medieval unicorn Viking slut. And the joke got away with everybody on Kickstarter. And there's a script for a one shot called Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut. So it's the joke that couldn't be contained is going to get its own book. I did the script for it. I just have to pencil it out. It's going to be a very short book. It's going to be a one shot, 16 pages at most. That's how short it's going to be at most. I really don't want it to take too much time on it. So, and I don't expect it to, but the thing is that I just don't know if I'm going to share that with another campaign or whether it's going to stand alone. So in terms of Kickstarters, this is why you need to be on my mailing list so that you will know, or at least following me on Facebook, so you will know when these campaigns go live so you don't miss anything. Now, in terms of all the other things, I've decided that for all the other books that are in production, I've decided that 2023 is going to be the year of the layout. And everything else from Eagle Raven 9, 10, 11, 12, if that which comprises Eagle Raven Volume 3. I'm just going to spend 2023 working straight through, but just doing layouts. Oh, there's my thing. You know what? This thing has happened before. That's done it by itself. Yeah, I know. It's like it happened the last time too. I don't know. I guess maybe if I bump something, you know. So that's the music for later. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on this schedule for 2023. You know, it's like because I want to also get the illustrations for the Eagle Raven Cult of the Wolf Witch novel. I want to start getting that on, you know, like on the docket as well, just in terms of layout, because certain people still have to read it. And, you know, and you know, kind of give me a little input. But the thing is, though, the illustrations are pretty much a given. Though I don't think anything is going to change that drastically for the novel. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start like penciling out, just laying out all the illustrations that go in the book. And the same thing for the second Eagle Raven novel slash short story collection that I'm putting together as well. It's the sister book to Cult of the Wolf Witch, and this is Eagle Raven Whispers to Eros, which for all of you who also know how I function here, it's the adults only Eagle Raven book that I threatened everybody with. So that I'm finally that's finally on the docket as well for 2023. And then there's just the miscellaneous things, like there's 3 short stories that I want to do. There's the audio book that I finally want to do. There's the Tall Tales comic that I have to finally finish. I have 4 pages left. That's what's on the table right now. There's an Oswald short I have to do. But yeah, but that's what 2023 is looking like for me. And it's like we're only on day 4 of 2023. But like I said, I think I did this in a way where like I said, no panic attacks this year. I promise, no panic attacks this year. Hey Glenn, welcome. All right. So yeah, I know. No, Nita has so Nita is one of my beta readers for the novel, and it's like, yeah, she's just busy. I mean, it's like, look, it's like if I really wanted to get it done, I'd give it's like, well, get it really moving, I would give it to Jose, but I'm not ready for that step yet. I'm not ready for that yet. You know, but yeah, so it's like, you know, so when Nita finally reads it, it's like I'm just, you know, excited about the novel. That's all. Right? So let me switch over. So so you guys heard me ramble enough for everything so far. We all know why you're here, and that's to watch me do some unfinished artwork for the next hour and a half. So there you go. That's right, Patrick. That's right. You know, so I'm going to switch over to the desk right here. So here's what I have. So there was a couple of things too. And also on that list is all the artwork, all the ancillary artwork that gets shoved in as well. And so I have a couple of things here that I was like trying to decide what to work on, but I think pretty much I decided I'm going to work on some comic book pages, because the next thing on my to-do list after I was able to finish a commission yesterday. I was very happy with that. I have one more commission I have to finish, but in terms of the actual books I got to get through, Tall Tales is the next one, issue 6. Like I said, there's 4 pages left. And that's technically the next one on my list. That's the easiest one to finish. Easy being relative, right? So, because I originally was thinking of working on there's these sketches that I did to do like new thumbnails for the live stream. And I just haven't gotten to them yet. But like I said, I decided that I was going to work on comic book pages instead. So I'm just going to put the sketchbook aside. Um, because yeah, we can save that for another day. And okay, so let me just tidy up over here. Let me see what we can do here. So I'm going to let's see. I'm going to move. I'm just moving my screens around so I can actually see what's going on. I can actually see. There we go. Oh, very nice, very nice. So let me just move my camera over a little bit so that, oh, look at that. You can see my microphone. Let me just put that aside for a little bit. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Okay. There we go. So the Cintiq is so dark though. I mean, so now I'm using, I transferred Streamyard to the Cintiq, but I guess it's like there's something on the Cintiq that I guess is supposed to be anti-glare, and it makes everything so much darker. And I was a little concerned that, oh my God, I have to buy more lights for the office, which I probably do, because I know that I could brighten this area up a little bit more. And I literally have a light right here. Like you can just see it right here. The light is right here. And it just feels like I could still use another light. So, but I think it looks fine on the screen. So I think we're pretty good. Let's see. Okay, so where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? And oh yeah. And before I forget, yes, I have the, let's see, let me start the music. Let's see, wait, something a little bit appropriate. Can you hear the music? Okay. Can you hear it? Yeah, okay, good. Um Something a little appropriate. We're doing the epidemic sound, the medieval playlist for at this time around. So so oh, look who's here. Look who's here. The troublemaker himself. Hello, Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Welcome to the stream. Try at least try to start some interesting rumors. Get a fight started or something. I don't know. maybe don't get a fight started. Don't get a fight started. Don't start fights in my chat, Arthur. But welcome though. Welcome. You still need to send me a link to your live stream. You still it's like, send me a link and I'll be there. I will. So, you know. So let me get my stuff here. So I guess, as always, for those of you who are not familiar with the way I ink using these technical pens, which I do not recommend you do. These were the pens that was given to me before I entered high school, and I've been using them since. Again, you do the math. And actually, don't do the math. Please don't. But the thing is, though, I really don't recommend them. If I'm going to recommend anything for anybody to use for inking, I would recommend. Oh, where is it? So I would recommend the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. I use them especially when I'm traveling because they have actual like India ink in them, or at least that's what I understand. So a lot of professional artists use this because the ink goes down really well, pretty much almost like the rapidographs. So you can pick these up anywhere. You can pick them up at Staples. You can pick them up at Michael's. You can pick them up on Amazon. I usually get mine off of Amazon. So they're easy to find. So and no fuss, no muss. I have to buy more of them because I go through them a lot. Um, but yeah, so okay, so I use these rapidiographs. Like I said, I don't recommend them. They're messy, they're temperamental, they're high maintenance, but that's what I use. You know? So okay, let's right. So let's see. I'm gonna start um with an easy panel. Okay, so the thing is though is that when I'm inking, especially lately, what I'm going to be doing is just laying down the first kind of like layer of ink, kind of like the base lines. Actually, you know what? Depending on, since this is such a small panel, I'll probably ink the whole thing so that you guys can see how it is I layer my lines to get the final what a final, my usual final panels look like. So right, oh, this music is definitely appropriate for what we got here. So here we go. So I don't know. So what's going on with everybody? So what's so how did everybody's New Year's go, and what is everybody planning on their end for 2023? Huh? What's going on? Are we still, like I said, it's like I don't do resolutions anymore. It's like in the end, it's like, look, you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. What was it that Sam had said, that it's like most people, like I think like what 60% of people fail their resolution within the first week, and it's like, yeah, no kidding. So it's like, yeah, it's like resolutions really haven't been a thing for me. um yeah so yeah, so this is this is Tall Tales Tears of the Mother, issue 6. I have been working on this issue for the past 3 years. I literally was almost finished with this when we went on lockdown, and I decided to put it aside to do Eagle Raven instead. Um, Oh yeah. The gym. Oh yeah, the gyms are going to empty out by February. That's usually how it goes, right? It's like everybody joins on the 1st, and then by February 1st, it's like, oh, we got other things to do, you know. But but the thing is though, it's like, from the first from our conversation from the beginning, it is important for us to do some kind of physical activity. Activity. Hey George, how you doing? Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you would think with the way conversations go online that artists don't do anything but press buttons anymore. Like we're like just George Jetson getting the sprain in our finger, from pressing buttons all day. So yeah. Here we go, Joe. Yes, you know what? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while. We have Joe, we have Jake. You know what that means.
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogo Guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogo Guys.
There we go. Now we're back to normal. Now we're cooking with gas here, right? Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. So I had stopped working on this issue in order to do Eagle Raven, to put Eagle Raven out. And honestly, that was probably not a good idea on my part. I what if I was responsible, and nobody ever said that. If I was a responsible person, I would have, I should have finished, I should have finished the issue, then moved on to Ego Raven, because then I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in now. Especially the fact that I ink a little bit differently now than I did when I started inking this issue. So a couple of pages. The thing is, I'm not sure if anybody else will notice but me. That there is that much of a difference, but with the inking, and you know, yeah. So it's like, so yeah. So here I am, future me is having to deal with the decision that past me made. And here's the thing too. On one hand, I only regret not finishing it, but at the same time, I don't regret the work that I put into getting Ego Raven ready for Kickstarter. That's how you know the Jetsons was a fantasy, right? Right? Well, you see, that's the thing. That's I think that I'm a little bit more cleaner with the lines, and that I don't have a tendency to use ultra thin lines like I did before. I like my lines to be bolder now than I did when I was doing when I was doing Tall Tales. And like I said, I probably would be the only one to notice the difference. So I don't regret the work. In the end, I don't regret the work. I just regret the poor time management. The poor time. Yeah, exactly. The poor time management. Because again, it's like now it's like, here I am right now, sowing the seeds of what past me had done. It's like, it's like, we'll let future me deal with deal with why, yes, I do, sir. Absolutely. I like my lines long and thick. Actually broad and thick. Length, sometimes the length is a little bit, if a line is too long, it kind of gets hard to get a clean swoop, because you got to get your elbow involved, and it's yes, I like shorter, thicker lines. So so here I am. Past me, is now saying, okay, future me, and future me is now me. So now here I am inking in the last four pages of this issue that should have been done 3 years ago. But that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. As long as it gets done in the end, that's what you see, it's like, look at my Fitbit complaining. It's like, oh, you haven't gotten up yet. It's like, look, I'll get up when the show's over. I'll make sure to make up any lost steps when the stream is over. So here would be an example, right? So there's this line here which kind of like delineates like a color change in the fur. And yeah, I know they all the Fitbits conspire against us. So past me would have used this pen, would have used the thinnest pen to do that delineation. Now I just go ahead and And you see, like here, now it's like I'm just going to go in and just do the thicker line, and that's it. You know, it's like what I found is that, especially because you know what it is, it's like this is what I do to ink to color. And that's kind of what I got into the habit of doing, because the thinner the line, the more obnoxious it is to flat and to color. But especially to flat, because you have to trace over those lines, the thin lines. And if I just make them slightly thicker, it's a lot easier. I mean, night and day. It's amazing, you know, what a slightly thicker line, how much easier a slightly thicker line. You know, it really made a difference. So I just kept the habit. So, you know, but Tall Tales is in black and white, where I didn't have that problem. So, you know, so now it's like I'm just keeping the habit. It's only like a couple of pages that have it. Like I said, I'm probably the only one who would notice it. Let's see. So I guess writers have it easier. I can let a project languish for 2 years, then go back without guilt. Well, you see, you know, that's funny, because it's like I would consider that, you know, letting the words breathe. You know, sometimes you have to do that with writing. Last year I finished a novel, you know, the one that I was talking about, you know, the Eagle Raven Cult of the Wolf Witch. And pretty much I've been sitting on it, you know, for all this, you know, for this time. I think I don't remember when I finished it. I think sometime in September, I think. And I'm still just, you know, not really doing anything with it. The only thing that I'm doing with it now is just reading it out loud to myself. That was actually one of the things I started doing, because I couldn't move, essentially. Like I was just lying in bed and I couldn't sit up. I couldn't do anything. So I have all this writing that I have to proofread, you know, on my phone. And what I started doing, while I was convalescing, I started reading to myself. And it's really funny how, you know, at least that way it felt like I was still working, because that was the thing that kind of like was kind of getting to me, that I didn't feel like I was doing anything, that I couldn't do anything. But when I started reading my stories to myself, you know, at least it's like, okay, one, I was able to entertain myself, and two, technically I was proofreading, I was editing, but with editing without editing, because I'm just reading it to myself, and then it's like I'm catching certain things and just making mental notes to when I go back into the story, to fix it, you know, because yeah, there's nothing like reading a story out loud to yourself for you to really get a sense of whether it works or not. Hey Jeff, how you doing? You know, so it's like, yeah, so yeah, a writer can leave, you know, they can, you know, like, because sometimes you just have to sit on it, even if it's you're halfway done or something. Sometimes you just have to sit on it and let that story breathe, and make changes accordingly when you come back, you know. Yeah. Oh, so here's the thing too. Here's also another difference in the inking. So I have my speed lines here. Like nowadays, what I've been doing is like I've just been freehanding my speed lines with this pen. I don't know. I just like the more organic feel to it. Um, and I just prefer it that way. But this is something that I need to keep consistent with Tall Tales, because I never did that anywhere in Tall Tales. I just, when I did the speed lines, I have my ruler, you know, I have the thin pen, and you know, everything's all nice and neat. So that I have to stay consistent with. So once I get this main figure like inked, then I can go in with the thin pen and do those lines. Yeah. So okay. So this is like the baselines that I put in on that I start with when I'm inking. It's going to be the same thing for all the panels. There's another like here's another page that I have partially inked, where as you can see, it's just me kind of like prepping the page with the main lines. And I think you remembered this page from another stream, which yeah, I didn't finish it like I said I was going to. So I just have the baselines. Like this is what a completed panel looks like. So this panel is completely inked. That one's done. We're going to be doing the same thing with this panel as well, to show anybody who's not familiar with my process. So yeah, so that's what I do. So I want to get like all 4 pages completely. This is the 4th page. So I want to get them all with the baseline done. And then I go in with the same with my other pens, thickening up the lines where they need to and whatnot. Like here, if George is still watching, like here is an example of the thinner pen, which I no longer use in EGORaven. So when I do EGORaven, but here I wanted to still kind of remember to keep some kind of consistency. So I use the thin pen in certain places. Like technically I should have done that here, but it's like, oh, hey, George, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So that's the difference. So those are the differences with the inking. But like I said, it's like, it's only going to be like in a couple of pages. And I wasn't doing the pages completely in order anyway. So like I said, I'm the only one that can tell the difference. I'm probably the only one who can tell the difference. So once I get these 4 pages with the base lines down, then what I can do is just it's kind of funny, but it gives me the illusion that I'm further ahead than I really am. And then once I have the base lines down, all I have to do is just pick a day, concentrate for the day, for the full day, and I can get the 4 pages done in one shot, which is that is my intention. So okay, so if we're going to use this panel as an example, so I'm going to take my next pen, which is a number 3, and right, exactly. If I didn't mention it, nobody would notice, right? But that's also the thing, right? We hyper fixate on things that only we notice. Like one of the pieces, or at least a series of pieces. If you follow me on Facebook, and this is like the general everybody. If you follow me on Facebook, last year I had started a series of images based on EGORaven, for EGORaven, called the Divine Portraits, and it was kind of like specific portraits of EGORaven, Loki, Eros, and Ishtar. And I finally finished them. So I finally finished working on Eros last night. Did a couple of tweaks to the image, and I posted the 4 images on my Facebook, so you can see them all together, how they work together. And of course, the second I uploaded the piece, I found all the mistakes in the Eros piece, which was my last one. So, really, that's a whole thing too. I don't think anybody else would have noticed, but I was just so mad to see all the mistakes. And then I had to like go back into my file. I had to fix it. And then I had to like re-upload the image. And I'm pretty sure nobody noticed what was wrong with it. I'm pretty sure nobody noticed except me, but it had to be done. It had to be done, because that's just how we are, right? So, okay, so I'm going to take this thicker pen, and I'm going to start like kind of building up the lines a bit. Now, I know it's going to look a little bit like I'm just tracing over what I did already, but that's kind of not what I'm doing. I'm going over very specific places to give it a little bit more depth with the line. So, so it's like, yeah, and then it's like this, I'm gonna like make sure I fill it in. Usually it's better for me to use like a marker or something for that instead of like scrubbing with my pens. It's not good for the nib to do that. Because it's like these nibs, they have like little metal pins inside, and if you scrub on the paper, you can kind of ruin the nib doing that. So I always have to remember not to do that. So there's just like certain lines I'm just going to thicken, and you can kind of see how it's building up. You can kind of see how that's beginning to come out, right? It's like, so let me just, so I'm excited. Actually, I'm pretty excited about my schedule, to tell you the truth. Like I said, everything is in varying degrees of production, so it doesn't completely feel like I'm working from scratch. Which I think helps. Even though it's like everything for Eagle Raven Volume 3 is definitely, technically, from scratch. I was able to get the issues that I did out so quickly. Issues 1 through 5. Well, even issues 1 through 7. I was able to get them out so quickly because they were pretty much partially done. Like, I had stopped working. The last time I had worked on those books were back in 2017. So, but I had like the layouts for 6 and 7 pretty much. All I had to do was just draw on top of it or just get everything done. So now it's like, that's kind of, it's like, so now it's like, it's a little, on one hand, it feels a little daunting, but on the other hand, it's like, I know that I can do it. Like, I really do think that the consistent work that I've done these past 3 years have really helped me gain a lot of confidence in getting this work done and being able to sit down and actually do the work. I think instead of using the thicker pen, I'm going back to my thinner pen, and I'm just going to like just bold this out a bit without going as thick as that line there. So just to give it a little bit more something going on. I mean, it's really funny. You would think that for the amount that I try to like imitate a brush, that I would have just learned to use a brush, and it's like, absolutely not. That it's like, I've tried to use brushes and crow quills and whatnot, but I just couldn't. I don't know. I didn't have the patience for them. The patience to learn to control them. So now I'm going to take my thickest pen, and I'm just going to do the very outline of this beast thing, and also the arrow shafts. Just, I gotta make sure that I don't put the ruler down all the way. Right. Okay. Allison says that she loves inking with a brush. I am happy for somebody has to, because I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I mean, I'm just a very impatient person. Um, and I don't know. It just the pen. I was getting what I needed with the pen. So that's in the end. That's how it. I'm the type of person that learns just enough what I need to do to get stuff done. Um, which is funny because yesterday we were talking to Visenia, who's, I think she's on Twitch right now. She does a book called Celestial Pulse. And we were talking, me and Nita were talking with her. And, I was talking about how, I was watching her do stuff using Clip Studio Paint that I was like going, holy crap, I have to just finally install the program. I mean, I literally have it right here. Like I could just reach over and here it is. I mean, it's like I could just install it. That's all I need to do. But I don't know. It's like just the whole learning curve of having to get used to a new program, in spite of the fact that it does a lot of things that I could really, really utilize. Even though the new updates are going to be subscription only, I don't care. It's like, you know what? It's like, if something is worth it, it's like, look, that's just the way all these companies are doing now. Like, you don't own anything. You have to subscribe to everything. I mean, if there are some interesting updates that Clip Studio, that Clip Studio, if they have some interesting updates that Clip Studio utilizes that could help me, it's like I'd pay a subscription for it. I'm sorry. It's like the music that's playing now is the same music that I used for the Peacekeepers trailer, which once I get the campaign approved by Kickstarter, I'm going to be slapping that shit all over the place because I really like the way it came out. It's very theatrical. I like it a lot. I don't know why I stopped making trailers for my Kickstarters like that. But I'm going back to that. I'm going back to theatrical trailers, and they're just so much more fun to make. And trying to find music that goes with the trailer is part of the fun. So it's like I just have to get over myself and like just finally learn how to do Clip Studio Paint. Well, here's the funny thing. Let me throw this out. Let me throw this out to everybody. Would you guys be interested in watching me struggle through Clip Studio Paint on a live stream? Like kind of like we're all learning it together type of thing. It's like, is that something that you guys would be interested in seeing, where it's like I try to figure out like, okay, how to do this and how to do that and whatnot, and we try to figure out Clip Studio Paint together. It's like, would that? All right, I'll see you later, Carl. It's like, glad you spent some time with us. Thank you. Right. Okay. Yeah. Critical patches, but subscriptions are yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's the thing. I think that it does a lot that I think makes the subscription worth it. Okay. So we got a resounding yes. So what? So it's like, does everybody just want to install Clip Studio Paint on our computers and we can all learn together? Because I really have to like just force myself, because, like I said, there's certain things like I know that Photoshop can imitate a lot of things too, but you see, that's the thing. Why imitate when I have the actual program to do it? Like I know I can get Photoshop to do, screen tones. I know that I can get it to do custom brushes, but if Clip Studio Paint can do it easier, and it's like, and it's already part of the program, instead of me trying to find, struggle through tutorials on how to imitate Clip Studio Paint and Photoshop. Why not take that effort to learn Clip Studio Paint, right? Oh, okay. So there we go. So Allison can walk me through it then. All right. So, oh, very nice title there. Very nice title. So, okay. So, I will take that as, you know what? It's like, we'll do one show about it anyway, and we'll see how it goes, because also it's like what I have to do. Oh, and as you can see, this is how I do the speed lines, which if I was using Clip Studio Paint, I could just automatically put it down, right? Instead of doing this shit by hand. So yeah, so I'm using my thinnest pen to finish off the speed lines, because that I have to keep consistent throughout the entire book. I didn't use the hand-drawn lines. So yeah, so there's no reason. So that it's like, okay, I know as much to keep that consistent. So yeah, so okay, so here's, I know that I've spoken about this before, but I guess going back, that's my concern. You see, Jake, that's exactly my concern, because I see too many people like use it just like straight out of the box and not really doing anything with it. Same thing with kind of like their assets for backgrounds, where it's like, how they take the photographs and they run it through a specific filter or something in Clip Studio Paint to make it look drawn. And it's kind of weird because it looks like, oh, you used an asset. And I would want to use Clip Studio Paint in a way where it didn't look like that's what I was doing. Because that's the funny thing. It's like, I would rather do something by hand and make it and have it look, and risk having it look wrong, than using an asset and make it and have it look like I used an asset. Where it's like, because I've seen books where it's like, like the characters look a certain way and then the backgrounds are a little too perfect. And it's like, or it looks a little bit too much like an altered photograph on a background. I mean, not for nothing, I was experimenting with that with Tall Tales for a little bit when I was doing the covers. Let me show you. So, like one of the things that I did for the Peacekeepers when I remastered the cover, where I recolored it, which you can get. It pops up, I think, over here, up here. So for this version, for this digest version that we did, I had used a photograph in the background that I had like altered the shit out of it. I ran it through like a billion filters or something. And it's like, and I like the look, but I really wasn't happy with it, again, because it looks like okay, you have a photograph in the background. And I've, like I said, I chalked it up with me experimenting with something. And when I redid the cover, I redrew the photograph. So I took the same photograph, but I redrew it by hand. So now it looks like it's part of the image. And I'm a lot happier with it, even though it's like, look, my perspective's probably off. Things are kind of like wonky or whatnot, but I would rather it look wonky than too perfect. Again, looking like an asset. Because Allison is mentioning you still have to manipulate the assets for it to look right. And it's like, yeah, but I think a lot of people don't do that. they just dump it in because, like, yeah, I've seen some comics where it's like the characters look a certain way, and then the backgrounds look a little too perfect. Like, you can tell from the way they draw the characters that you do not know that's like, look, my dude, you do not know how to draw backgrounds with this, your skill level on the characters in the backgrounds are two different things. So it looks really weird. So that's one thing that I want to watch out for when I go into Clip Studio Paint and I learn all these things. Because yeah, I don't want anything to look like I'm using, you use the clone tool, you use the stamp tool, you use the assets, you use the 3D model, it's like, yeah. So I know that I've spoken about this before. So another reason, and I think that maybe we could try to do this together, like maybe on the next live stream or whatnot, when I install Clip Studio Paint. I really want to use the shades, the different gray tone shades. That's what I really want to do. And also another thing that Visenia was showing us, or at least telling us, because I've seen her do this on her stream, where I think like Clip Studio Paint is like 4 or 5 different Adobe products in one program. And because I didn't know that you could use Clip Studio Paint to actually produce the book, like if you're using InDesign. So on Adobe, you would be using InDesign. So I didn't know that Clip Studio Paint had something in there already. And she was telling us, it's like you could do manga size. You could even do like webtoons. If you do a webtoon comic, it has the format for that there. And it has all these different formats that you could already build onto. So I've been buying different types of manga recently. And like I said at the beginning of the show, like even the Peonies for ElfQuest, when they did a manga version of ElfQuest through DC Comics years ago. I have this Clip Studio Paint X. So when I bought this, I figured, it's like, you know what, if I'm going to spend money, I might as well get what their version of the Pro version, I guess, which is EX. I think that also comes with the animation program as well. So I think that okay. You know what? Okay, that I read too. For those of you who are reading the chat, Allison is talking about that it's the only thing that Clip Studio Paint's kind of wonky on is the lettering, which I'm okay with. I like using Illustrator for lettering, especially since that I am following the Nate Pecos book. What's it called? The Essential Guide to Comic Book Lettering, and he uses Illustrator. So I would probably continue using Illustrator for lettering. Because I've heard that the lettering in Clip Studio is a little weird. Right. Okay. So ElfQuest did a manga version. So they tore apart the pages. They put panels. They adjusted the panels and whatnot. It's kind of weird because you can really see where it doesn't work. Like, you could tell that there are panels where they stretch them out too much, or or whatnot. So what I was kind of curious about is maybe like taking Tall Tales, taking Eager Raven, and doing kind of like manga versions of them. It's like really set them up for in like a traditional, whatever the standard manga size is, and not traditional, standard. There's a standard depending on the printers, right? And one of the things that I've noticed with manga, because the one thing that I always found funny, especially with the way, all the kids be reading the mangoes, all the kids, all the mangoes and the light novels, it's like, and I always find it funny that it's like, I don't understand. It's like, they're reading all these black and white comics, but black and white comics still have a hard time getting traction. Like, what's the disconnect? And Hosea was telling me, it's like, well, it's because that standard black and white comics. Hey, Wolf, I see you there. I see you. With the mangoes. Oh, look at that. Is that a mango? Yes, with the mangoes. And he said that it's like, well, it's like, yeah, because like a more mainstream black and white comic doesn't have the same aesthetic as a manga comic, even though they're both in black and white. So there's a kind of like an aesthetic thing that I would like to use Clip Studio Paint to try to imitate. So, so maybe like the first thing that we could try doing, okay, so there we go. So here is a completed panel. Now let me just yeah, I think let me see, where's my reference? Okay, so here are the printouts to the previous pages that I've done already, because like this way it serves as a quick reference for me. And I just want to check something. It's like, because sometimes I put texture in things and sometimes I don't. And it seems like, yeah, okay, I didn't put texture. So I'm going to leave those, the arrows blank. I'm not going to put any texture in it. I think there's enough going on here. Let me just tighten this up. Let me just, so yeah, so what I want to do is I want to figure out the grace, that whole gray tone thing, that because I think that I'd be pulling apart pages might not be that big of a deal for me, but it's getting the aesthetic down. The one thing that I didn't like about the ElfQuest version of the of the ElfQuest manga was that all the gray tones printed really, really dark and muddy. And I don't know if that's probably the way they try to use the shading. And that's also another thing I want to try to avoid as well. Let me grab something here. Okay, let me grab a random manga here. So, so what I was looking, so what I was really looking at on some of this, some of the manga is reformatting Tall Tales and Eagle Raven to maybe something this size, and then getting the aesthetic down of how like the covers are laid out. So like, I have, like the wraparounds and whatnot, like looking like this. But if I really want this aesthetic, I have to kind of like play around with it a little bit more. So first off, I would have to like, okay, maybe it would look something like this, with a character and, just like I said, the aesthetic of manga is different, right? But so here, so I'm just opening up to a random page, and yeah, and it's like, and the way they use, like, the ElfQuest one was horrible. Like, this would have like printed all black. Like, that's how dark it was printing, and it looked muddy, so it wasn't even like a nice black field. It was just, yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Yeah, yes, we are going, yeah, it's like The thing is, though, it's like I don't mind the transformation. I'm looking forward to it as well. I would like to see what, like, now here's the thing though. I'm not going to redraw any of this to look this style. That's the thing. You're still going to get the same artwork. Like, let me pull like Tall Tales here. Okay, so here is, again, we would have to do the size. We would have to redo the layout of the cover, right? So, so I would be taking the same artwork, right? Just what you see here. I wouldn't be redrawing it, nothing's gonna, all of a sudden, it's not gonna look like Sailor Moon, and I want to be able to do the tones. I say, I don't know why I'm making this sound more complicated than it probably is. Probably I'm going to install Clip Studio Paint, and it's going to be so incredibly easy. I'm going to feel like an asshole waiting, like holding out this long for using Clip Studio Paint, right? I mean, it's like, is that what's going to happen? So the idea is to probably reformat these panels to this size, a smaller size, and then use the gray tone to kind of imitate that aesthetic. So, but the thing is, though, I wouldn't be working, I wouldn't be, I would still be working in the American way of opening the book. I was about to say the right way and wrong way, and we already talked about that last time. No, it's the Japanese. It's the Japanese and American, and I will definitely be doing my manga size book as American, in American reading style. So that's kind of, oh, right. Yeah, no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. It's still going to be very much my style. I worked hard at this style. I worked hard at having, I think, what is a rather unique style, and I'd like to keep it that way. So that's kind of, even, it's like, maybe, I don't know, would I even consider re-lettering it? I don't know. I don't know. It depends, I guess. The problem with Tall Tales, especially, is that I think it was like the first 5 or 6 issues where I was gluing down the lettering onto the actual pages. I mean, that's so it's like, I don't know how that would work. Probably like, okay, so like if I show you the first book, right? Which is probably a little bit heavier in terms, like you can tell right off the bat, it's very heavy in terms of inking, because back in the day, if you wanted to put gray tones in, you had to buy the sheets, right? And peel them and whatnot. Those are too expensive. So I used a heavier textured inking style to make up for that. And also for the fact that we couldn't do color at the time either. So I had to fill up every inch of space. So something like this, if we were to like redo the first couple of issues, the first like volume, it would be, that would probably be trickier, because I probably would have to clean up so much stuff just so that the gray tones, like all those gray tones wouldn't get in the way. So it's like, yeah, that's, but, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think that once I get the hang of what Clip Studio can do, then it's like we can decide what we can or cannot do from there. So as you can see, so I want to be able to like really, oh, look at that. It's a freaking, oh, I don't want to peel that. Wait. Look at that. It's a security tag in me book. Wait. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, that was a close one. That was a close call. you know. So yeah, so that's kind of the goal that I'm working on, that I would like to that's what I would like to accomplish with Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, let's fake some mangoes. we could do that, right? You see, and that's the funny thing too, because with these new pages that I'm doing, they would work a lot better with the gray tones, because I'm not putting in as much lines, like as you saw in that first volume. But so what, you know what, I think let's commit to learning Clip Studio Paint in 2023, right? Because like other things that I've seen Clip Studio Paint do, along with like the patterns and the brushes and whatnot, is I saw somebody using like the perspective tools in, like, it has a really robust perspective tool, where I don't know, well, I have read this one, but I have seen people use the perspective tool in Clip Studio. But I had read someone say that you can like draw a character in a space, and that the perspective tool can help you figure out the perspective based on the figure. Is that true? Because that would be very helpful, you know. Even though technically the right way of setting up a space is oh, hey, hello Daniel, hello. I'm fine, I'm good, I'm very good. Just working, and the leg's not bothering me, and yeah, we're good. I'm getting excited over Clip Studio Paint. Maybe I can learn a new program, so that kind of like loosen that Adobe, I depend on Adobe a little too much, so I don't know, so it's like, yeah, I read about the perspective tool, like, so if it could do that, it's like the right way to set up a scene, right, is to well, that's true too. You see, that again, like going back to, I don't want my stuff to look like I'm using assets all the time. I want to be able to use it so that I can internalize proper perspective better. I don't want to just depend on it going, oh, we'll fix it in post, type of thing. Or it's like, oh, the computer will fix it. And I really don't want to do that. Like, I want to be able to use these tools so that I can kind of like build that muscle memory, so that I wouldn't have to depend on it. Because again, it's like I keep losing my thought here. Because the proper way to set up a scene is, well, again, your mileage may vary, is that you're supposed to create the background first. Set your, like you create the set. Like when I did this panel, the background came first. So it's like, okay, this is what I want the background to look like, right? And then I put the figures in, right? It's like, as opposed to, I guess, putting the figures in first and then trying to figure out the perspective around them. What I found is that by doing the scene first, one, it helped me with my backgrounds more. And it helped me visualize the space better. Like, it helped me visualize the scene and the space that the characters take up better. So so that And then it's like, that's when I noticed my backgrounds started looking like backgrounds as opposed to like a cardboard set. Because like I was just like putting in the characters and then like just faking some shit in the background, as opposed to like making it feel like they were in an environment. And it's like that's when it finally clicked for me. Um so yeah, so I would want to be able um yeah. Oh, okay. It's like I wouldn't wish it for it to go as far as using the tool in the thumbnail stage when visualizing composition and framing. I mean, yeah, that's oh, yeah, and loosen the Adobe shackle. Yeah, exactly. You know, especially since again, like not to get into a conversation about AI, but I just read before I came on that Adobe, you know, they're throwing their hat in that ring. Like I said, I'm more surprised they hadn't done it from the beginning. And if you have anything, if you use Adobe Cloud to store your stuff on, you have to go into your settings to tell Adobe they are not to use anything in Adobe Cloud that you put there for AI training. Yeah, it's like I find it irritating that it's always the onus on the artist, you know, to like opt out of this shit rather than, you know, that these companies need us to opt in. It's so obnoxious. Luckily, I already had mine set up. You know, it's like so that one, I don't use Adobe Cloud anyway, but I already had it set up that they cannot use anything that I store on the Adobe Cloud for anything, for any training purposes whatsoever. So yeah, so at least Clip Studio Paint learned their lesson. They're not, you know, um and yeah, you know, and it just seems like I said, it just seems like that Adobe Clip Studio Paint can do a lot of things with one program that with Adobe takes like five. You know, because eventually I would like to I would also like to play around with their animation thing too, because you know, Mike Jimmy has been doing some really amazing stuff. I mean, it's like, granted, animation is going to be a whole thing in and of itself. You know, I mean, I think what it's like, Mike Jimmy's been working on his trailer for Korra, his episode for Korra, for like the past year or something. And it's really coming together. You know, I can't wait to see it finished. But I mean, what he's done so far is just really amazing that, you know, one person, you know, can do so much. And he's using Clip Studio Paint to do that. So yeah, so at least like one program, you know. Um you know, so yeah, so let's learn something new, right? Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. You know, so probably we'll have, maybe we'll try something on the on the next stream, depending on what's going on. Um you know, we'll crank up Clip Studio Paint and we'll try to gray tone. We'll try to gray tone a page, maybe. You know. Oh, there's another program called Krita. I mean, it's like, yeah, as if there isn't enough programs for everyone to be learning, right? Well, I mean, it's like, okay, so Krita is open source. I mean, I actually don't mind paying a subscription for something I know I'm going to use a lot of. I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. That's, I mean, in the end, it's like, like I said, even with Clip Studio Paint, it's like, if I really get, when I get the hang of it, it's like, it'll be, I think it's worth the subscription, considering what the program can do from what I've seen. It's like, oh, okay, so even Joe, okay, so you still use Illustrator and Photoshop. Yeah, well, yeah, we'll all learn together. We'll all learn together and see what we can do with this program. Well, actually, what would be better? Like learn. Maybe we should color something in Clip Studio. Maybe that would be, um, it's like, I don't know. Like I said, it's like, we'll figure something out. I would rather play around with the tones than color something. I think coloring is something that probably something that we could pick up later. Um, because I know that it's not that dissimilar to to Photoshop. So maybe I'm just like, I'm being a baby about this learning curve thing. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, you know. But at least, like, so everybody, if you're joining us on a replay, right, make sure you look at the chat, because it's like, look, I have big brains in the chat who are recommending a lot of things. Like, if if you don't want to pay a subscription, there are options for everything, pretty much. It's like, if you want to try something that's open source or something that doesn't require you to pay a subscription for, so that information is showing up in the chat too. So that's why you need to be here. If you're watching me from other places, come on over to YouTube. It's like, subscribe to the channel, whether it's Daphne Lage Art or Indie Comics Network, or both. Do both, because why not, right? Head on over to the chat, and it's like, and let's share the knowledge, because we're all going to learn Clip Studio Paint together. We're going to learn how to do fake manga in Clip Studio Paint. And we're going to have a good time doing it. That's God, I really do hope Kickstarter doesn't take forever to, because I'm afraid that, because what happened with oh no, the short stacks are back. I haven't played the game in a bit. It's like, I've been just so, my leg was bothering me so much I couldn't even concentrate on playing the game. I was just like, you would think that I could at least have done that, right? But no, I couldn't even play the game the entire time. I was laid up, you know. But you know what? It's like I am busy though. I'm trying to keep busy with actual stuff. I don't want I don't want video games, one video game, getting in the way of me finishing all this work. you know. Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. An American mangaka. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like there was this. I just can't believe that there are people out there who are still trying to argue that unless you're Japanese, you can't use any of the Japanese words. You can't call yourself a mangaka. And it's just like, people are so boring. I mean, because in the end, it's like there was this whole thing that white manga did, where it's like, he was saying, it's like, look, all manga means in Japanese is comics. It doesn't mean anything else. I mean, it's like a Marvel comic there is called a Marvel manga because it's a Marvel comic. I mean, it's like there's nothing special about the word, but it's like, I don't know. It's like friggin' weeaboos. They're nutty sometimes. They're too much. They're too much. And mind you, this is the same argument I was hearing when me, Matthew, and Jose were doing La Blue Girl back in the day. It's like there was literally, it's like, oh, unless you're Japanese, it doesn't count as manga and this. Yeah, exactly, Allison. It doesn't count as this or whatever. Although it was really funny, though. It was really funny. I remember this transition. Everybody, the Disney hate, right? Disney hate everywhere. The manga, it's Disney sucks, Disney sucks, right? Until Kingdom Hearts came out. The transition was instantaneous. It was just really funny how there was all this Disney hate where if you even cosplay, I remember being at an anime convention where this couple cosplayed as Hercules and Megara, the Disney version, and they got booed off the stage, during a cosplay contest for how dare you bring Disney, to a manga, like an anime convention. And then when Kingdom Hearts came out, it was like every other motherfucker at an anime convention was dressed up as a Disney character. All of a sudden, all the girls that were booing, oh, Disney sucks, they were all dressed as Belle at the next convention. So it's like they are so full of shit. They are so full of shit. It's ridiculous, but that's what it is. It's like, it's this. These are people who are not really concerned about protecting. Like, I don't know. It's like they it's very strange. It's a very strange form of nationalism combined with like this condescending attitude towards the Japanese, that they need to be protected by these 14-year-old white kids, that it's like some white kid who just, because it's always, it's like, I'm not, it's always, because it's like I said, it's like that attitude I mean, we were dealing with it when we were doing, La Blue Girl and Tenchi, and to hear people argue the same thing too. It's like I said, I think it's like it's nationalism combined with infantilization of the Japanese culture. That's like, oh, only like, oh, because sometimes they'll argue with Japanese people with that shit. I mean, that's the thing, that's the thing. Oh, hey there. Hey, Akia Fern. I mean, so yeah, it's just, but like I said, there was that immediate transition when Kingdom Hearts came out, and then all of a sudden it was acceptable to like Disney characters again. You know, it was like not again. It was just acceptable to like Disney characters at an anime convention. You know, so like I said, they're full of shit. They're absolutely every single one of them. You know, because even white manga, you know, I mean, he has people salty, absolutely salty that he calls his stuff manga, even though it looks exactly like manga. He draws in the complete aesthetic, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like he understands the I guess like the layout language of it, you know, and there are people who are salty that he calls himself a manga artist, you know. So it's like, but which do you think pisses them off the most, the fact that he's American or the fact that he's a black guy? Yeah, I said that because like I said, they're full of shit, these people, you know. You know, and you know, it's like, hey, you know, it's like I'm going to say it how I see it, that it's like, it just seems that if you're more of an American ethnicity, there's a lot more pushback with you being able to call yourself a mangaka, or even just what you do is manga. I don't know why. Do you know why? That's why the arguments are all sus. They're all sus. Fucking weeaboos. They need to know their place. They need, you know what it is? They need to mind their own business. That's what it is. You know, it's like, look, the cat, it's out of the bag. The genie's out of the bottle. You know, it's like Americans have been doing manga since Tokyo Pop popularized it. You know, and it's like, look, look, if Americans want to call themselves American mangaka, I am, you know, it's like, you know, there's no reason why they can't. You know. No. You know, it's like, yeah, that's what it's like. It's not coincidence. You know, it's like, it's not coincidence that he gets the shit that he does. You know, and they always want to claim it's because they're protecting Japanese culture. They're protecting shit. They're not protecting anything. You know. I mean, what's funny is that, you know, it's like they want people, they want to be able to expand their culture outside of Japan. I mean, there was this woman, this animator that I used to follow a long time ago. I forgot what her name was. I think it was Amy Kitty or something. She did a book a long time ago called a 6 foot woman's guide to Japan or something, or it's like Adventures in Japan. And she was, you know, she lives in California, and at the time she was learning kimono. So she actually went to she was actually going to a special school because she did cosplay and whatnot. And she went to a special school to learn kimono, you know, and it's like, okay, it's like, so she was learning how to, you know, like how to dress properly and all the pieces or whatnot. None of that Katy Perry, you know, stick chopsticks in your hair shit, you know. It's like, no, she was learning the real deal, you know, from a Japanese woman, you know, and all that. And she was getting shit every time she showed photos of her, like, you know, like doing her homework or whatnot, or you know, or participating in you know, in anything in the kimono. She would get shit in the comments, you know, about how that she's culturally appropriating and this, that, and the other thing, that as a white woman she had no right to wear kimono and whatnot. And you know, and the thing is, and it's like, she had to explain, and in the end, it's like even her teacher explained that it's like, look, we want Americans to learn how to do this. In fact, that we're thrilled that Americans want to learn this because their own youth don't want to learn how to do this. You know, there's a lot of industries that are dying in Japan because, like, you know, traditional, you know, because they have nobody to pass it down to. There's this Hispanic artist from California that he studied under a Japanese woodblock maker, you know, and it's like, yeah, and it's like, and he gets it, you know, to be able to do like these kind of like these I think his name is Jed Henry. I don't know if I'm confusing him with the tattoo artist, but I'm pretty sure it's Jed Henry. I think so. And he does kind of like fan art pieces, but done in this incredibly traditional style. Like he learned his craft from like a Japanese master. And then the funny thing is that he's so like into the authenticity of his work that his paper that he does his prints on is only done in one place in Japan. He only has one supplier because that's it. They're the only people left in Japan making this paper. And they almost went out of business because of COVID. And he offered to buy up their supply to keep them in business because he needed them. He couldn't afford, because he says there was nobody else. And then it's like, and then it's like, he does his artwork and then he sends it to another person. I think it's like another Hispanic person who trained to do the woodblock printing, to do the actual woodblock printing of it. So it's like this whole multicultural thing that's happening just so this one Japanese tradition still survives, you know? And the idea that there's these friggin' idiots who say that, oh, well, that's, if you're not Japanese, your culture. It's like, no, you don't know it's like, you don't know the definition of the word cultural appropriation. And we're going to put that on the top shelf until you learn how to use it properly. You know, but the thing is though, is that, you know, okay, so it's like, so if they don't have, if a cultural, something with cultural significance can only exist if a person of that culture learns it, then what happens when you have a disinterest? What happens when the youth of that culture has a disinterest of learning that? It's like, what would these weeaboos just rather it die out? You know, become an extinct thing? Because, oh, well, you know, only Japanese people. It's like, no, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, so it's like, yeah, so it's nationalism and racism. That's pretty much what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. You know what? Do the work you want to do. Call it however you want, whatever you feel is accurate to what you do. And don't worry about the uptight 14-year-olds, you know? It's like who they don't even own they don't even have a passport under their name. But all of a sudden they can decide what's culturally significant to Japan and what isn't, you know? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. No. Yeah, the shelves just keep getting higher and higher. I swear. This is how I end up hurting myself. You know, those stupid kids, they keep grabbing for all these words they have no right using, you know? Like, you know, you know? You know, it's like, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the thing too. You know, it's like that it's like, you know, these are the same kids that are doing literally a chop suey version. And yes, and I mean it like that. Like, that's how, like, these kids don't know what they're talking about. You know, they're doing that Katy Perry chop suey shit, you know, of Asian culture. And then it's like they have, but they want to be little Nazis about, you know, little gatekeeping Nazis about who can do manga and who can't, you know. Oh, hello, brown dog. Hello, welcome. I mean, it's like welcome, even though you're just hitting the end of yeah, we just hit the top of the second hour. So as always, this is all I got. This is all I got for 2 hours worth of work. But it's like, look, because I'm busy talking to everybody, so it's like, you know, it's like, look, if you know, so let me just switch this over here so we can okay, there we go. So we can just set this up a bit. Let's go back here. Let's just put everything where it was before, you know. Okay, so let me just, you know, we'll just cut the music, you know, and let me see. Let's just put that like that. Yeah, so there we go. So as you can see on the screen, that's so far what I've been able to ink in. But you know, the thing is though, is that let me move my camera. You know, it's like I've always said that these streams are kind of like being at a convention without there being a convention. It's like it's for me to talk to everybody in the chat. You're all coming over to my table. We're all having a good time. You know. You know, and it's like, you know, look, I don't get much work done at conventions, so I don't get much work done on a live stream either. I can't be these I'm just not the type of person that can sit live streaming for like 5-6 hours until I can get something done and still interact with everybody. But also it's like I don't want to bore everybody with just a stream of me just drawing and not talking to anybody. I kind of think that defeats the purpose of what, or at least what I'm trying to accomplish here. I mean, you know, it's like, look, everybody does live streams for different reasons. Or you know, it's like, you know, and I prefer a live stream to be very interactive. So if it means that I don't get a lot of work done, that's what it is. You know, it's like I said, maybe it's like we'll all install Clip Studio Paint. We'll all try to gray tone something and see what happens, and we'll all not work together. How about that? You know, yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, you know. But so there we have it. So I am going to continue working on this. Like I said, it's like once I get these 4 pages, the main inks down, I can just like, you know, probably start, you know, tomorrow I could just like kind of blow through them, you know, and finally be able to cross that off my list as well and get through this monster of a to-do list that I have for the year. So yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it, you know. So let me okay, so let me just let's just do that. Okay, let's do this. Oop, and let's do that. Oh, there we go. There we go. You're officially at the end here. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you everybody in the chat for sticking it out and keeping you know, and just like I said, just you're just as much part of the wisdom that comes out of these streams. I don't know if what I say is wisdom, but I know there's a lot of wisdom in the chat. So if you're catching this on a restream, on a replay, if you're catching this on a replay, make sure you don't ignore the chat. There's a lot going on there. You know, that there are a lot of fun, a lot of wisdom, you know, a lot of learning going on there, you know, and you know, it's you know, it's like I think we complement each other, you know, I really do, you know. And yes, I would like to thank the 10 people, the 10 brave souls who yes, another successful office rotation. And yes, and I would like to thank the 10 souls, brave souls, who actually stayed through the entire 2 hours. Thank you so much. You could be doing anything else, but you know what? Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe it's like we're all just working together. We're all just doing, what we're doing, and just passing the time and whatnot. I'm just really happy to be able to do the stream again. Like I said, it's been a hairy couple, several weeks. Like I said, my leg is getting better. Hopefully by the time I get to the doctor, it will be better. And then it's like she could just give me the okay to start working out again, which again is something I think we all should remember to do. So make sure you do your stretches, make sure you move around, make sure you're not just sitting in the same place, hunched over, on a drawing table. I know sometimes we get into the zone, but the thing is though, is that, don't go through what I did. Don't go through what I just did. I mean, I really do not want to do this again. It was very stressful. It was very painful. And it was upsetting. It was very, it's a freaking tag from the book. It was upsetting because the idea of not being able to work it got to a point where it was freaking me out, because it's like the thought of not being able to ink, to draw, to work online. It's just like don't hurt yourselves, guys. Don't hurt yourselves. It's like stretch, it's like maybe that should be also something the ancients should be saying. Make sure you stretch along with moisturizing. So there you have it. Like I said, thank you everybody for joining me for this 2 hours. And if you would like to learn more about me and my artwork, you want to read, free comics online, you're going to head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. If you're into seeing, work sketches and work in progress and up-to-date updates. I mean, there has to be a less there's a phrase I keep, it's on the tip of my tongue every time I'm about to say it. But it just goes straight to the redundancy of up-to-date updates, like live updates or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Just go to Facebook, follow me there. It'll be a lot easier. And remember, if you want to see videos and all my previous streams, head on over to my channel on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure you like and subscribe both those channels to make us both happy, because Nita works hard at this too. And I want to thank everybody Nita, even though she's sleeping right now. So everybody quietly thank Nita. Everybody quietly thank Nita for watching the chat, and keeping the weirdos out, or maybe keeping them in. We don't know yet. We haven't decided yet. So make sure you join me on my YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live on any of our stuff on on the Indie Comics Network, and whenever I go live on my channel here every Wednesday, hopefully, most likely. And remember, you can read Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn in full color now on the daily updates on my website at egoworks.com if you want to try out my highly acclaimed fantasy series on Kickstarter. So if you haven't decided to support it on Kickstarter yet, head on over to egoworks.com, where not only can you read it for free starting now, pretty much daily uploads, you can also download a free 16-page sample comic, and then, maybe head on over to Kickstarter later. It's like, all the options are there. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales Online, TAILS, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And while you're on either of those websites, make sure you don't forget to sign up for our monthly newsletter, where not only will you get more comic book PDFs for free, but you'll get regular updates about all the campaigns that I talked about at the beginning of the show, and that you don't miss any one of them. And like I said, I'm just waiting for Kickstarter to get its shit together so I can start putting up links to the Peacekeepers pre-launch page. That's coming up soon, so stay tuned for that as well. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much. And really, it's like, I couldn't do any of this without you, because, like, you know what? You guys make it so much fun, and it's because of you guys that I keep coming back. So even with a bum leg. So again, everybody take care of themselves. Make sure you stretch, moisturize, the whole thing. And yeah, so on that note, I'll see you later.
You really want to know my process?
Absolutely.
Usually starts with a holla and ends with a creamsicle.
And then if there's time in between, thunder.